You want the best for your car? You already watch our tutorials.
So the best place for the best deal is to buy from the Mr. Auto app. Easy, fast, and with better prices than on the website.
You will find the TRW control arms used in the video through the link in the description. Turn your engine off, pull up the handbrake, pull on the bonnet release lever, and open the bonnet. Loosen the stud bolts on the front wheels. You must remove the wheels in order to change the control arms on your vehicle. This will give you full access to the suspension system. Lift the front of the vehicle. Place the vehicle on the axle stands. We strongly suggest watching the tutorial, raising your vehicle safely before carrying out this step. Don't forget to slide the wheels under the vehicle. Start by brushing the ball joint retaining nut of the control arm, then spray it with degreaser. Be careful not to get any degreaser on the disc. If you do, make sure to decontaminate the disc using brake cleaner. Using an 18mm spanner, unscrew the retaining nut. During this operation, you will be working on the front axle of your car, so it is advisable to perform a parallelism afterwards. Using a ball joint puller or a pry bar, disengage the ball joint from the stop axle. Brush the screw holding the rear silent block on the control arm and spray it with penetrating oil. Using an 18mm spanner, a brake bar and an 18mm socket, loosen the screw holding the rear silent block. Finish unscrewing by hand. Then remove the screw. On some engines on this vehicle, the front silent block retaining bolt can't be removed without lifting the engine. Disconnect the connectors of the cooling circuit temperature sensor. Using a T25 Torx bit, loosen the two screws holding the expansion tank. You can now move the coolant expansion tank to the engine side. Next, unclip the hose. Using a socket wrench and a 15mm socket, you can now unscrew the nut holding the engine mount on the passenger side. Using the jack and a large rubber buffer so as to not damage the oil pan, lift the engine a few centimeters to gain access to the front control arm retaining bolt. Using the socket wrench and the 18mm socket, unscrew the bolt holding the front silent block. Then remove it. You can now remove the control arm by pulling on it and moving back and forth.
All parts used in this tutorial are supplied by our trusted partners. These partners also help us create as many video tutorials as possible. Check them out in the description below.
You will find the TRW control arms used in the video through the link in the description. Start by brushing and lubricating the location of the control arm silent block to facilitate the installation. Apply silicone grease to the flat part that will be in contact with the suspension ball joint sleeve. Start by inserting the back part and sliding it into its housing. Install the bolt and screw the nut back on by hand. Pivot the control arm to put the front part into the housing. You can also tap it with a hammer to help. Roughly, screw the retaining bolt back on to leave the silent block free in its slot. Finish tightening of the rear silent block using the torque wrench. Reinsert the suspension ball joint. It may be necessary to lever it in so that it goes in properly. Screw the suspension ball joint nut back on. Then finish tightening with the torque wrench. It is now time to lift the control arms at the ball joint using a jack. The front silent blocks on the engine bedside must be tightened in the vehicle in the ground position to keep them in good condition. Finish tightening the silent block. You can now lower the engine. Screw the engine mount nut back on. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Clip the cooling hose back on. And put the expansion tank back in place. Tighten the 2 screws holding the expansion tank back on. Reconnect the electric connector. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. During this operation, you'll be working on the front axle of your car, so it is advisable to perform the parallelism afterwards. Put your car back on the ground and block the wheels securely. Operation completed.
Hi, it's Theo from Usetool. I hope this video has helped you a lot in your car maintenance. We would be super grateful if you could spread the word so that we can produce even more tutorials. Simply give us a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us boost the channel and help the whole community. Thanks a lot and have a great one.